Good morning. Today is a special edition of Gary's Movie Emporium. Today is a day where I reserve a title from Wild Eye Releasing's video library that they send me to review. Today's movie is And Then You Die from 2013. The synopsis is Sam Wallace has had a rough life, dumped on by everyone, a real human doormat after having the worst day of his life. The tables are about to turn when he returns from the dead to avenge all those who wronged him, and payback will be a bloody mess. This movie came out very similar to Wrestle Massacre for me, and they totally swerve us with this cover. Where you're thinking that might be a bit spoilers here, but the cover makes it look like it's going to be a killer that's like this, and it's totally. I label Sam Wallace in this movie as the Office Space killer because that's the way he's dressed. He's dressed in a tie, a white shirt with blood all over it after all the kills he's done in this. But basically, it starts off with Sam. It's shown in the family home where he sees his mother being strangled to death by the father who's lost control. And he more or less I guess he's afraid that the wife's going to take off and leave him. I can see why he's abusive and screams at her and belittles her. And he does go on to kill the mother. And Sam goes to a foster home where he doesn't have any much luck either. He ends up staying there for a brief time. I don't know if he stays there because I didn't really show that part. He does stay there for a decent amount of time. He's beaten by the stepfather very often. When the stepmom or the foster mom is gone, should say foster parents more or less, not stepmom or stepdad, but they were foster parents, and much like a lot of the foster care system, you get certain parents that are abusive or mean to the children. That's why the foster system tends to get a bad name just for one or two foster caring parents. But he beats them when the foster mom's not around. And then later, I don't know if it's much later, but shortly later, it kind of flashes forward a little bit to Sam on the playground. And there's a girl on the playground too that's getting abused. Like he, gets made fun of and pushed and kicked around, and he tries to go over and help her. And then this bigger kid sticks his nose in, and God loves a bully, in this world. But there's a bully on the playground that shoves him to the ground and holds him down and lets other people beat on him. And then it goes on to flash a little bit more forward, where it shows an older Sam who's now working at a car dealership. He's all ready for work, and he wants to kiss his wife goodbye. And she's playing hard to get. You can tell she doesn't really love him deep down. And I got that vibe right off the bat that she was cheating on him, which she was. And I just got that vibe because she didn't want to come to the bathroom door to kiss him or say bye to him. And then he leaves for work. And in the meantime, she calls the boyfriend. He comes over. The rest is history on that one. But Sam goes to work. He gets, I don't know, so far up the road, his car breaks down because it runs out of gas. And more bad luck for Sam. And a tow truck guy comes along and tells him that, he's got to get the car out of the road. It can't sit there. And Sam asks if he can get a ride back home. Because he more or less has been fired by his boss in the meantime because he's called him on the cell to tell him that he's not going to be there on time, and his boss says it's his last strike. So they fire him, and that's more bad news for Sam. And in the process, he wants to ride back with the tow truck guy, and the tow truck guy goes, "We can't. The insurance companies won't allow for it. You'll have to hoof it or find another way of transportation home." And he doesn't, he doesn't really, he's not good at confrontation, let's put it that way. He just kind of takes it, and I can kind of see why he snaps later on in the movie, but maybe not to the level he did. But there's a lot of people in the world that get, pushed so far before they crack. Let's see, I'm trying to see how far in I wrote some notes on the movie. Oh, and then he has to get back home because he obviously can't go to work now. No car. He has. Oh yeah. Before that, he tried to get gas at a kind of a jerkish guy's house, and the guy chased him off with a shotgun. So that's more bad luck. He couldn't even get a simple, little half a tank of gas, and you could tell the guy had gas on his at his residence because he was kind of like one of those redneck guys that probably filled up gas and everything between tractor, four-wheeler, whatever. Most farm, like, not, he doesn't like a farm, but like it has a lot of all kinds of stuff going on for machinery on his property. But Sam goes back home and he catches his wife's boyfriend on the side's van in his driveway, and he goes, and he gets pissed, obviously, and he starts to look through his van and stuff, and then he goes in, and I think he grabs a crowbar out of his back of his van, maybe, and he goes in and he smacks the, I can't remember his name, smacks Brad, that's the cheating boyfriend in this, smacks him in the head with a, I don't know if it smacks him in the head, but he does smack him pretty good with a crowbar and kind of leaves him bloodied, but he's not gone and out. But I think he tries to strangle his girlfriend or his wife too, and he goes I think he goes to walk into the bathroom, and then her boyfriend comes too and hits him from behind and knocks him unconscious, in which they think he's possibly dead. Now Sam's probably dead, which he's not, but then they start contemplating getting rid of his body by throwing it out in the woods, which basically sets into play everything that goes down in this as far as the body count in this movie. But because they leave him out in the woods, he comes back even more like he wants vengeance for them doing that, and he's taking it out on the world at this point. That's the part I didn't. I mean, it kind of made sense, but that's the part I didn't really like about this. Was he never really came off like a killer until he found out about the cheating, and I'm just like, it's bad when you get cheated on, probably, but I just don't think an average person would go to these lengths to just start killing people in the fashion he did. But you can't pick on that because this is supposed to be a horror film, and that's the whole point. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Well, in the meantime, he doesn't bump into him yet, but they flash or cut away, and they show a bunch of young group of campers that are staying out near the woods where Sam has been laid to basically die, or be out there to die off. But then his wife is discussing what they've done to Sam, and she has remorse, saying he's a good guy. They really shouldn't have gone that far, and you can't really blame him for being mad, being cheated on. Yeah, like I said, they later on they bump into a group of campers that are camping out. At one point, it shows his wife, Tess, contemplating suicide in the bathroom when she's taking a bath. I think she's really sorry for what she's done. And I think if I remember correctly, the way it starts off on this whole killing rampage of the teens that are, they really weren't teens, they were like probably in their middle 20s or almost 30, but they were playing them as teens. It started off with Sam coming to, and he was watching them for some. I think it looked like he was standing behind a tree. I think that's what they were implying. But it shows this one younger guy of the group. The guy wants the guy with a girlfriend wants the one guy to do a prank on him, and he wants them to spy on the people when they're having sex, and he wants to scare them because he's wearing a mask. But basically, the rest of this movie is couples being killed, single members of the group are being killed. He just goes right down the list of the, I don't know what you want to call them, but like, that part of the cast. I guess you could say the co-stars, or the kind of like the dead meat kind of part of the horror film, where they're lined up for slaughter. And basically he goes on really a brutal rampage, killing them in various ways, pretty clever ways, very, very well done ways for a $5,000 budgeted film. I'm not going to go into detail about everything at how he killed them, but I label Sam the office space killer because, like I say, he's dressed up like he's still going to the office, and he's got the tie and everything like that. Gets really brutal by the end. I mean, people are killed in various ways. Like I said, one guy gets the tow truck driver gets killed. I believe at the hands of a. Let's see. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the guy that was mean to him about not giving him gas early in the movie. Sam throws him into a wood chipper. Made a little joke while I was writing down my notes. I said he goes all rotor-rooter with the bad guy who wouldn't give him gas in the movie. He has the kills in this were pretty inventive. He goes on at one part to fillet somebody's face on a propane grill. And half of his face looks like something out of a trauma movie because it's like the entire face is like mangled and kind of like their kind of like the makeup effects from a trauma movie, and it's like $5,000 budgeted film, and they went a long way to make this look realistic with the $5,000. The movie was directed by Daniel Murphy and Brian Gaillard. The ending to this movie is very brutal. I'm gonna give you a big warning on this if you're offended by any like the subject of rape, kind of like torture pornish at the end here, with Sam going all coastal on his wife, even though she still loves him, and I don't think he really knows it, but it gets really brutal. It looked like to me he took a handful of glass, stuffed it in her mouth, and then duct taped her mouth. And he goes on to torture her for a little bit, and she dies, and then it shows him in bed with her, and the neighbor ladies called the cops saying that they made a bunch of noise over there. Next thing you know, he rolls over and he says, I think he said something like, think I should go see who that is or whatever like that, and he shows and pans over on her and she's dead and she got blood all over her, and he goes to get out of bed to answer the door, and then it fades to black, leaving it very much open for a sequel. This movie was at about an hour and 25 minutes long, from 2013, and I think it said in the beginning it was from H&M Films, and if I didn't say it's from 2013, and I think it took it like 7 years to pick up a distributor, which is the very well-known Wild Eye Releasing film group. And they picked it up, and I'm really happy they did, because this film deserved to be on DVD or Blu-ray. But getting back to that, I think they try to swerve us with this cover here. That's just my opinion, which is good and all, but I just wish it would have been more in the vein of the killer that looked like this. That's my only complaint. But the violence was very heavy in this film. Many of the people, like I said, were killed in various ways, whether it be gas, whether it be a wood chipper, stabbed, neck broke. Kind of a brutal part with a girl in here who was pregnant carrying a child, and Sam didn't care, and he smashed her in the head and then broke her neck, like I said. Here's a couple that were killed in the movie too, right here. But that wraps up the review for this morning. I hope you enjoyed that review. I pretty much recommend this movie. There's some tough scenes to get through, like I say, with the last section of Sam having his way with his wife nailed to the floor. That part's kind of brutal. This probably could have almost went into the raw and extreme line for Wild Eye, because he did kind of go really all batshit here on everybody. But I really like the movie. It gets a 5.5 on IMDB, and I don't really agree with that. I think it should have been a little higher. Maybe at least a 6.5 or a 7. I would probably give it a couple thumbs up, maybe. I'm not really sure. It's kind of like not great, but I've seen better Wild Eye, but I've also seen worse. Pretty good way to spend your hour and 25 minutes. It's actually an hour and 25 minutes, because I looked at the end on the VLC player on the computer when I was watching it. It's like an hour 25 and like 30 or 20 some seconds. I think it's actually an hour 25 and 23 seconds. That's what it actually is, if you really want to know. The writers on this were Brian Gaillard, supervising writer, and Daniel Murphy. This movie starred Chuck Smith, Christopher Hunt, Lindsey McIntire. Lindsey McIntire was, not seeing her name here. Yeah. Not seeing who she played in the IMDB site here. But that's my review for this morning, and I apologize for forgetting some of the details, because I like to go into full detail on the review, just because kind of makes a deciding factor if it sounds like it's up your alley. I skipped a lot of the killing part, like per person, because that was really long-winded for this review. But that's my review for And Then You Die for 2013. Thank you, Wild Eye, for another opportunity to review for you. I'm planning on doing these a little bit more frequently. It's just I've been kind of tied down with the Dollar Tree videos. But thank you for watching, and please visit the Wild Eye site when you get a chance. They got great titles. I found a number of them in the Dollar Tree as well in the past. So stay on the lookout at your Dollar Trees to see what you can get that's out there. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye.